Howdy, everyone. My name's Nicholas, and welcome to the Headliner PodPod. We're a show about podcasts featuring podcasts by podcasters that's hosted by people who help podcasters with their podcasting. On each episode, a few of us folks over at Headliner sit down to play a game that centers around listening to randomly selected clips from over 500 show submissions we've gotten from podcasters. Why? Well, in order to find what we call Pod Zero. Here are the rules. Each lucky contestant will hear a 60-second podcast clip. They'll then need to pick the correct podcast title from a lineup of 3 choices before being shown the artwork for that show. Before we get the show on the road, though, let's say hi to each of our contestants for today, starting with Oliver.
Hey there, Nicholas.
Next up, we have Prateek. I'm great. Thanks for asking, boss.
Good.
I'm living my best life. Next up, we have Prateek.
Hey, everyone.
Followed by Max.
Hey, headliners.
Kristy.
Let's go.
Jesse.
Talking about dang old yo, man.
Bringing us a very King of the Hill intro. And Alyssa as our producer.
Hi, everyone.
Great. So, Alyssa, do you have a little ad read for us today?
Oh, do I? Okay, let's take a second to talk about audiograms. Audiograms, it's what we're known for. They're simple, powerful tools every podcaster can make part of their podmotional plan. With Make by Headliner, you can create anything from full-length optimized audiograms for YouTube down to quick templatized clips you can simply text to loved ones. These powerful marketing assets can pack a serious punch too. Audiograms are video files. They outperform traditional text posts on social media platforms like X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They truly excel at working their way into social algorithms as they exemplify best practice on these social platforms. What's even better is you can upload these audiograms into Eddy to automatically get captions, blog, or newsletter copy to accompany these bad boys. So break the static quo and create audiograms as part of your podmotional plan.
Incredible. Amazing. So many puns, so little time. We should rename that last sentence Punmotional Plan, just because.
I really try my best over here.
Clearly. All right. With that out of the way, let's dive into our game. And let's get things started on the right foot by having Oliver up first.
The right foot.
Yes.
Eyes closed.
Yep.
Oh my God.
What an interesting opener.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, first of all, when Brian said Smashing Pumpkins were opening for Blink-182 for Green Day, I've seen the Smashing Pumpkins some years ago. Not good.
Not good.
You know, it was sad because like they were such a good band, but like most of the band isn't around with them anymore. And it was just everything was like all the music was angry. Like every song that was a hit, he just played angry. But yeah, wow.
Interviews with him.
Yeah, but Green Day's Dookie. This is one where like at first when I was listening to it, I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's interesting. This happens to you a lot, Manny, where like we have conversations and then all of a sudden like that little turn happens.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, huh.
So it definitely happened. I gotta give it to Mark.
All right. There was our clip. I'd just like to interject very quickly to remind everyone that the band's name was Smashing Pumpkins. I feel like being angry was just like, it's kind of built into the name a little bit, but maybe I'm wrong there. On that note,
Yeah, I have to interject here myself, Nicholas. The first time I ever went to a concert by myself was the Smashing Pumpkins at the Fleet Center in Boston in the much storied era. And they were angry, and they even back then, and they did play their hit songs incredibly fast and angry. So
that had to be something. I feel like 1979, if it's just played really fast, is a sight to behold.
Well, I also have to interject to say that despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage.
Oh, geez.
Sad story.
Oh my gosh. Max did my favorite thing that people do, which is they read lyrics like completely deadpan. It's like my favorite thing. You can read any lyric completely deadpan and it becomes the funniest thing in the world to me. So thank you for that.
I wasn't trying to be deadpan for the record.
Yeah, I know you weren't.
It's a condition.
Oh my gosh. On that note, while we get Max immediate medical attention for deadpania, the medical condition he has, here are your options for today, Oliver. Number 1, the Nostalgia Test podcast.
Ooh.
Number 2, OK Boomer podcast with William Joseph Armstrong.
Okay, Boomer.
And number 3, Greener Days podcast.
I'm going to say no way Zoomer to okay Boomer, Alyssa. Actually, what is a Zoomer? Can we get a fact check? I don't know what that is.
A Zoomer?
Gen
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z.
Okay.
We, had to take school online because of, that whole shutdown.
Is that the differentiator?
I think so.
Okay.
I would know.
Okay, so throw out number B. There's just no way that a boomer's sitting here talking about the Pumpkins like that. There's just no way.
Yeah, that's slanderous.
Pumpkins aren't a boomer band. They're like a Zennial. I would say they're a Zennial band. So we're going to throw that out. So, Nicholas, if you don't mind, could we please hear option number A and option letter 3?
Option number A, the Nostalgia Test podcast. And then option letter C, or 3. So sorry, they sound similar. My brain's crossing wires. Greener Days podcast.
Greener Days. The Nostalgia Test? I think that might be the right one.
Okay. Locking in.
I saw a slight curl on Alyssa's smile, which makes me think I'm going to be wrong, but that seems like cheating. Number 1, lock it in, Nicholas. A1, let's go.
So A1 Sauce, the Nostalgia Test podcast, is correct.
It's correct.
You are 100% right. It is the Nostalgia Test. And the other two were...
Because I got it right. Oh.
Speech. Give us an acceptance speech.
I'd like to thank Nicholas. I'd like to thank you for always laughing at our demise to motivate us.
You're so welcome. I feel so seen right now. I do it for you guys. Truly. Yep, you are correct. The other two were woefully wrong. And they were also Green Day jokes because William Joseph Armstrong is Billy Joe Armstrong. It's not his real name. It's just the kind of elongated version. And then Greener Days, obviously Green Day. So, yeah. The clip we just heard was from the 30th anniversary of Green Day's Dookie with Mark Jackson. And here's our description. Join longtime friends Dan and Manny as they put their mainstream pop culture past to the ultimate test, the Nostalgia Test. I like that. It kind of ends like a game theory video, but that's just a theory, Okay. Neat.
Game theory.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm glad someone finished it for me because I wasn't going to be that guy.
I like the food theories more, but I digress.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, I like film theory more.
Shocking.
There we go. Yeah, nobody is shocked by that. They're just like, this pans. Okay. Jumping on forward, let's just go right into the next clip for today. Prateek, how you feeling? You want to go next?
Let's do it.
Cool.
Got my eyes closed? Let's go.
What I will say is, I think it's fair to say I'm the main writer in the band, do you know what I mean? But when I'm writing, I don't write thinking, what an audience will think or whatever. I just I'll pitch it to you guys, and then you'll be like, yeah, you add your own things to it, obviously. Because I think if you're writing for an audience, you can overthink it quite a bit. Because we've got a couple of slower songs that we've been writing and things like that. Which the crowd have quite liked as well, do you know what I mean? Because a bit of change in direction is good.
Certainly enough that we've no set a specific sound yet, so we can catch it but a lot of mental state in
definitely. Seeing what works. Because I think we're doing, because like songs we're all happy with, I think that's what we go with. Definitely.
And a lot of the process as well is you'll do the acoustic demo in your room and send it away.
Yeah.
All right. So, Prateek, here were your 3 options. Number 1, this is the music. Number 2, wait a minuet. Or is that wait a minute, Alyssa? I can't tell if that's supposed to be minuet or minute.
No. I do spell those two wrong all the time, but no, it is intentionally spelled as minuet this time.
Okay. I'm just checking because Google Drive was yelling at me saying that it was wrong.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
Cool. And number 3, moving and grooving.
What was the first one again?
This is the music.
Sorry, what was the second one?
Wait a minuet. No, it's good you asked because I didn't want you to think that whole distraction at the end, all that like word salad was a part of the title.
Right.
Which one?
The first one?
First one, this is the music.
This is the music.
This is the correct answer, Prateek.
All right.
You got it right. Yeah. It was not wait a minuet or minute. Alyssa, can you double check and let me know which? So
What?
sorry. No, I was saying that wasn't the title.
Okay. I was like, this is right. I don't.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, the clip you just heard was from episode 99 entitled Quaint. And the description for the show is, this is the music brings you insights and interviews from the best in new music. So cool stuff all around. I like how simple the artwork is for it. It looks like we just have a picture of the hosts on one side and then the logo for the show itself. It's clean. It's neat. Cool stuff. Also, maybe this is just my brain being my brain, but wait a minuet. I have to circle back on that. I love it because like the fact that the hosts have, I can't place the accent. Does anyone know what accent that was? It sounded Scottish to me.
Yeah, I thought British, but probably
British,
same.
Scottish.
Yeah.
Minuet, minute. It sounds like, I don't know. I feel like a Scottish person saying minute might actually sound like minuet. So just saying. I think that was a clever title on Alyssa's part. Anyway.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's just jump on forward to our next contestant, Max, who has a little sticker of a corgi on the side of his screen.
It's my little friend. All right, let's do it.
Sure you've discussed this with business leaders on your podcast, David, but combine that with the overlay of flexible work arrangements. And some folks may be old-fashioned and may say, I don't think people, should work at home. When they're home, they're not doing anything but their laundry. So, I like it the old-fashioned way. Well, younger generations aren't going to stand for that. And so leaders, regardless of what generation they're in, have to recognize the challenges of being fair and biased, even though they may have particular points of view that are personal.
David, this is also a great example where sort of the beauty of where Felice is coming from as an employment attorney and we're coming from a business psychologist, right? So I'm working with leaders and saying, yeah, this is the reality. I hear you.
All right. There was our clip, Max. So here are your 3 options for today.
I just want to
Number
say
1,
that I'm literally doing my laundry right now. I'm sorry.
well, we
Oliver.
knew that. That's why you're going 3rd, actually.
No, I'm not joking. Like literally, I put it in the wash right before this podcast. So
Why are you apologizing to me, Max? I think
you heard it on the show. Apparently, some bosses don't want you doing laundry while you're working at home.
Well, I'm not some bosses, Max.
And that's why we love working at Headliner. We get to do
On
our
my
laundry
way.
while working at home.
We launder everything at this company.
Nope, no, we don't. Everything's
For legal reasons.
For legal reasons, we specifically mean sheets.
Right.
What a Kodak moment. Okay, here are your options, Max. Number 1, Somehow I Manage with M.G. Scott. Number 2, Leadership Without Losing Your Soul. And number 3, Becoming a Better Leader.
Okay, I really like the first one. I don't know if it is that one, but I'm going to vote for the for what I want to see in the world, as they say.
So you're going with number 1, Somehow I Manage.
I have a question, Max.
Yes.
Have you ever seen The Office?
Yeah, big fan.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's,
10 times in a row.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna still vote for it. I don't, even though you're trying to convince me out.
Okay.
That's okay.
So-
That is good too, I guess.
You are
Office reference.
Yeah. You are incorrect, sir. It is Somehow I Manage is Michael Gary Scott's memoir he's working on in the show.
Oh, well, I thought you were talking about this title. Well, that's why I want it to be the title, because I love The Office. So
yeah,
it's just
there
my
you go.
fandom permeating through, clouding my judgment. So
Subconsciously making you pick the wrong choice. The correct answer for real was leadership without losing your soul.
there you go.
Yeah.
Business,
Very.
it's all supposed to be emotionless. My emotions get involved and I messed up. So that's on me.
That's okay. You know, it's a
Thank you.
learning experience for everyone. Somehow you manage, Max.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So the clip you just heard was from episode 245. Optimize leadership potential while navigating the complexities of a hybrid work environment. And anytime a podcast has that many episodes, I just get a little scared because I just think about all of the episodes that exist there. I don't know. Does anyone get intimidated by that?
How many episodes?
245.
Like, that's not that much relative to some other podcasts.
Yeah,
Aren't
I
some like in
know.
the thousands now or something?
I think of the number of weeks. That's at least 4 years, maybe. So you got a huge backlog to go through if you check this podcast out. Anyway, here's our show description. It can feel like a rigged game. Managers face aggressive goals and drive their teams to burnout trying to deliver. Or employees seek connection and support, so managers focus on relationships and fail to make the numbers. Join international best-selling leadership author David Dye for a conversation about practical leadership tools to help you get results without losing your soul or mind in the process. So, there you have it. Interesting stuff. Coming up next, let's go with Kristy.
Oh, okay, fine.
Got a little bit of a Minnesota accent there for a sec.
Okay, fine there.
Very cool. He's covering his face with a Zelda sticker pack.
That blew over in a few months after everybody was convinced that it was a safe device.
It sounds like
it's history.
Very much like politicians, regardless of one's politics. Politicians are pretty good at giving opinions without having knowledge of lots of different things.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think Ralph was a little frustrated, but amused by it all. And I think he anticipated it. So he had a good training program to run them through the whole, how the device worked and the safety features.
I think that I've read in recent years, maybe it's more now, that there are something like 60 to 70 technology features offered on a new car, unless it's a very base model of a vehicle. But many cars have 60 technology features.
All right. There's our clip.
Awesome.
And here are your options. Number 1, hit the Nas podcast. Number 2, the Weekly Driver podcast. And number 3, No Clunker Left Behind podcast.
Dang, they're all really good. I'm going to base my decisions solely on my love for the Fast and the Furious franchise. So number 1, hit the Nas.
Hit the Nas.
Locking it in.
Okay. Unfortunately,
that
okay.
Is
incorrect.
It's okay, hit me. I went in knowing that this was going to be wrong, but I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Word. No, it was the Weekly Driver podcast. And good effort. You know, you got gumption in picking it.
Yeah.
It takes guts. Unfortunately, I can't give you too much credit because, as Dom says in the Fast and Furious, you still lost.
Yes.
But also something family. Anyway, this is from the episode Automotive Legend Ralph Teeter. And our show description is, the Weekly Driver podcast is an extension of theweeklydriver.com, online since 2004. That's all in caps lock. Imagine I yelled that into space.
Kristy, you have a bonus question, though.
Yes,
What?
You can save face today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Where do you think they recorded that podcast?
I think that they record. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the best way to explain it. It's like they're recording on a brand new IKEA table and a lot of glass. There is so much reverberation. There's so much like weird space inside of their space that it sounded just strange.
Okay.
Is there like a specific room or anything that you're envisioning with this as well?
What's the prop situation in the room?
Honestly, it's like I think that there is a hung up glass picture of probably a very old, like let's say like a diagram for like the original T car. What was that?
A Model T.
Yeah, a Model T, but it's definitely glass and like maybe a cheap plastic, and it's just the table, whatever they're on. For some reason, it's just screaming tan to me, but tan and like that crappy gloss that you have on like IKEA stuff. It just sounds like it's reverberating everywhere.
Okay, can we just take a step back and ask, is the glass you're hearing potentially a windshield? And are they recording this in their car?
They are not recording this in their car. It would sound so much smaller. It's in such a larger space.
Like an open floor plan type deal?
Yeah, open floor plan.
Okay.
It just reminds me of like old startup company offices where it's everyone working in like a space and like, but everyone's out on lunch and it's just a huge, lots of plastic, lots of glass, lots of gloss. That's where it seems like to me.
Back when you couldn't do your laundry while working.
Exactly.
Terrible time.
You just had to be really efficient about it, Max. You
Or
had to have like
nice
a washboard under your
coworkers.
desk and everything.
Well, there was a reason I asked because they had, not that. They did have a picture of them recording and how they
Okay, let's see it. Let me see it.
Oh, can you not see it?
I can see it. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. See, lots of glass, open space. Yeah. Okay.
Hung glass even.
Okay, so the table I got wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's marble. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep.
The color was right though. And the hanging glass.
Yeah. You were right about a picture being on the wall.
It wasn't right about it being in a room.
Yeah.
It's
you're mistaking marble for glass is just really starting to. You need to get better at that. Headliner needs some accuracy on this.
It felt like I was hearing something like really reverberating, and all I could think about was like a really crappy IKEA table. But you're absolutely right. You could be recording just in your kitchen. And that one girl that I talked about like episodes back, I feel like I nailed that one where it was like the marble table is something I have to like keep in mind that people do have those.
Yeah, they are fairly popular. Also, I'd just like to say Kristy's views of IKEA don't reflect my views. If anyone at IKEA wants to give me money to talk about it on the show, I am available and desperately available even. So moving on, let's just jump over to Jesse, who looks about ready and very festive with his background today.
Very Stranger Things-esque.
Yes.
Celebrating Leap Day. Okay.
So a couple of days later, Mike withdrew the money, but went straight to the saloon in Douglas and spent the money there. So obviously when Nick finds out about this, he's not happy. And he tracks Mike down, and when he took his revenge. So Mike was probably walking out of the saloon, and this is how I picture it anyways. And Nick is just waiting for him and then just walks up behind him and shoots him. So he'd had enough. And so, of course, Nick was booked on a murder charge and was held without bail.
It's kind of gruesome to not even confront him again.
Exactly. Like, give it one more chance, because maybe he just spent a couple dollars in there and you could get at least some of your money back.
And then shoot him in the back.
And shoot him in the back, exactly. Yeah, which makes me wonder earlier when I was talking about like he does this carrying gesture. Oh no, maybe it wasn't very carrying. That's just how I want to picture it, but seems like you said it's brutal. It's a brutal way to do that. So a few days after the shooting, on January 4th, Mike was buried at the Douglas Cemetery.
All right. There was our clip. In case it needs stating, I am not the Nick in the story. Pinky promise. And here are your choices for today, Jesse. Number 1, Italian American Stories Podcast. Number 2, Red, White, and Green, The Stories That Made Us. And number 3, From Pastas to Pies, Italian Americans Thrive.
Man, it's just like life's made up of a bunch of choices, you know, man. And each choice you make, dang on makes you, man. And I'm just going to pick number 2.
Number 2, Red, White, and Green, The Stories That Made Us. I swear I saw you writing down. I saw you crunching the numbers on this one, man.
I tried.
Fair enough. That is incorrect. It was actually Italian American Stories podcast. So sorry, dang old man.
Wait, hang it.
As the resident Italian American on this podcast, I would take the moment to say, Madonna.
There you go. And what we just listened to was from episode 17, the New Year's Eve murder of Mike DeFino. Here's our show description. A podcast that rediscovers the forgotten stories of Italian Americans in the newspapers of the past. So there you have it. That's a really interesting premise for a podcast. I mean, it makes me just imagine they're picking random newspaper clippings and just like doing some good old fashioned research into it. I don't know. I don't know if this is like a well-known murder case or something. So yeah, unless anyone has anything to add there, perhaps calling me out on being horribly wrong about something. I don't know.
Cool art. I like the art. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's good art. It's very artful. On that note, let's just chug along to the part where everyone teams up and tries to figure out one more, podcast clip.
At one point, I remember he just seemed broken. And it was just, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, my dream is going to blow up in smokes and I can't do anything about it. We lost 80% of our clientele like that due to what happened. And I was able, at that time, I built my business within Trinot pretty quickly, pretty fast, had some really great leaders. And we were making, I'd made, at that point, I was making around 6 figures a year. And so it was a very humbling moment for me to just be able to tell my husband, babe, I got, like, whatever's going to happen, you just need to know what I've been able to create. I got us. And so it taught me how the importance of having a plan B before you need a plan B. I didn't know the world was going to shut down. I didn't know these things were going to happen. I didn't know the importance of second streams of income, third streams of income. It wasn't even a part of my thought process.
Okay. So there was our clip. And here are your options. Number 1, Interrupted. Act 2, Reinventing Your Legacy. Number 2, Don't Call It a Comeback Podcast. And number 3, Kickin' Life's Butt Podcast.
Number 3. Who's with me?
Let's do it. Number 3.
No,
Let's do it.
I don't know.
Wait, hold on a
Let's
minute.
do it.
Number 3? What?
Just like
Guys, if we
No
just pick
reason,
number
gang.
3 that easily, we won't be producing content for our podcast. Let's have a discussion at least.
I feel like this podcast has a fair amount of content to be.
Fine, number 3. Go with 3. I've said my piece.
Informed debate. Let's talk about it. Let's get ideas into the world.
Enough with the debates. Number 3, right?
Let's talk about why do we all feel like choosing number 3.
Well, now it's turning into therapy, Max.
Well, let's do more content. Why don't he say them again, and then
Sure.
we'll all cheer on how we
okay.
feel about him.
Yeah,
Okay?
let's do like an applause meter sort of
We'll
thing.
do an applause meter. So say the first one.
All right, Alyssa, do you want to be the applause meter or should I?
Oh, let's team up. They're teaming up. We'll
Okay.
team up.
Yeah, we'll both be the applause meter. Okay. So, number 1, Interrupted. Act 2, Reinventing Your Legacy.
Woo.
Okay. This is...
Boo earns.
I heard a boo in there.
I was saying boo earns.
Okay. Well, the
I booed.
enthusiasm for that.
I'll own it.
Thank you, Kristy.
I think we knew, but thank you.
The show is slowly entering, like everybody's becoming a hater gradually over time on this. First it was Max, then it was me, now it's Kristy.
Yep.
Number
We
2.
need some balance. We need the Simon Cowell. We need the Paula. I forgot the other guy, Randy.
Yep, Randy.
Are these people even exist on the show anymore? This is like from 2000. I haven't watched that
Simon does.
No
show.
dog.
Simon's still there.
Number 2, Don't Call It a Comeback Podcast.
Woo, yay.
Okay, well, I'm not going to even do the applause meter, guys. You blew it. Number 3.
Jessica was muted.
I was. I blew it.
Number 3, Kickin' Life's Butt Podcast.
Let's
Yeah!
Yeah. Incredible. What I'm getting from this is that old tactic at school assemblies where kids don't clap and then the person's like, I can't hear you, actually works.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was only after I called it out that you guys clapped. Okay. So it sounds to me like y'all actually do want to pick Kicking Life's butt.
Yeah.
I don't know what 2 means to you, but this is what 3 means to me.
Word, man. So on that note, Kicking Life's Butt podcast is incorrect. I'm glad y'all didn't go for the LL Cool J lyric, but the correct answer was Interrupted, Act 2, Reinventing Your Legacy.
That makes a lot more sense now that I see it written.
Yeah. Yeah. How about that?
Makes a lot more sense now that I know how wrong I was. So
Have a visual aid.
Yeah.
My sincerest apologies for booing.
I was boo-ernsing, so which is good.
Okay. On that note, everybody, this was from episode 49, Empowering Women Physically, Mentally, and in Business with Katrina Jensen. And our description is a long boy. So everyone sit down, help yourself to a beverage. And I'm just going to go at this like it's the end of a medical infomercial. Reinvent Act 2, Life After 60. Are you feeling like a has-been? Like all the life-fulfilling things are behind you and you're missing out? Do you wonder if people will remember you and your legacy? Are you afraid you missed the boat and have some regrets? Wishing you were brave enough to do that thing, live that dream, but now it's just too late? You are too old? Good news! Hi there, I'm Lori, and I felt the same way. It seemed like life was passing me by. I was a single mom raising 3 kids on my own, making decisions that were good for the family, but not in line with the dreams I held. Doing what was right to support them. I struggled with depression and feeling like my good life was over. I was over 50 when my youngest graduated high school, and I thought I missed out on everything. Now what? I reinvented my dream, told a friend, and started walking in the direction I was terrified of, and boy, did I get a lot of no's. I persevered, and you can too. Persevered because I listened to people who had overcome challenges, rediscovered their purpose, found fulfillment after 60, started over, created their Act 2, embraced change and new beginnings. Thank you to those who were brave enough to share so we would have hope and believe a possible future filled with joy. You'll even hear some brave souls get coached into their Act 2. Grab your coffee or tea and that beautiful journal you just bought to secretly think about your dreams and get ready to go for a ride. I'm talking with lots of people just like you who are in their second act of life, made big changes, reinvented themselves, creating a life they love. It is so doable, and they are going to have to share how they did it. I just know you are going to be encouraged and maybe even come up with a plan for your Act 2. And exhale.
Dang on news,
okay.
Man.
Yeah, there you have it. Interesting podcast art. I'm a sucker for a good, simple chat bubble for a cover. I think it says everything it needs to. And yeah, sounds like an interesting podcast for sure. On that note, that was our last clip for today. Good job. I feel like we got a higher ratio of y'all guessing it right than usual. I wasn't actually keeping score. I should start doing that. At any rate, thanks for playing, everybody, and thanks to everyone for listening. We'll be back with another episode soon, and I hope y'all have a great day. So yeah, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.